now there's aftermath of all that, you know what I mean? And now we're trying to get him um, able to travel to go be with one of his ex-wives, so she can take care of him. And so right before this call, I keep thinking, I've been thinking a lot, like, I need boundaries with him, and how do I see love in him, because he's really a disgusting person, do you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
he's just he's just not a good person. And then I've got a relationship with somebody that is very similar to him, just like a demanding 4-year-old child that wants my attention and wants my time. And I said no, and it's not sinking in. I'm like,
Mhm.
Jesus Christ already, you know?
Mhm. Yep, yep. I
So,
understand.
um, so that has really come up in the past week. Both of those things just kind of like coming to a head.
Mhm.
So that was interesting. And I've been really focusing on my relationship and communication with Source, and um, looking to deepen that, and and really get answers that way. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to a beginning mediumship class. So
Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so that's been something I've been figuring I want to do, and it's come to be really important that I do it
Okay.
over the past month or so. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So kind of seeing things at an even deeper level, kind of seeing more of like the esoteric world and connecting that right to the
Hmm.
really seeing the things which we can't see and experience, right, in our logical mind,
Right.
being able to receive, right, those downloads from spirit. That's so beautiful.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
to go back to, right, this reading and kind of how you see it given light of the situations that you've been going through in the past week, how do you find the love in something that's not lovable, right? Or someone that's not lovable, that's just not, right, a pleasant situation, or trying to set boundaries and, right, the other not receiving your message, right? So you can only love and appreciate to the degree that you can control, right, that situation. You can't control him, you can't control his actions or what he does, but what you can do and how you can love is, I always say, every relationship in our life is a mirror. Not to say that that person's exactly like us, but everyone is teaching us some side of our soul that we need to see. So the way you can find love, right, in supporting yourself and going through your own journey, right, which is the only thing that you can control, is to look within in both these situations and to ask yourself, what is the universe trying to tell me? What is the grace? What is the blessing? What is the message that I am supposed to receive, right, from this situation? And that is how you can love yourself. So it's not always about loving the other person, but it's finding the love within a situation that is challenging in a way that can help elevate your soul and your spirit, right, as you're on this path. Um, and the other thing is to bless anyways. I don't know if you follow him, but, and I'll bring more light to this, but Joel Osteen, which
Hmm.
is funny because I'm Jewish and I listen to sermons from a pastor's church just because I love him so much. And I have this station on my Sirius radio. But I
Hmm.
listened to a whole talk that he did, I don't know, months ago, and I never forgot it, along these lines where he said, is it hard to bless someone that you don't feel should receive a blessing, or a situation or somebody that is challenging or someone that is not a good person? And he said, pray for them anyways, right? Send them love, send them blessings, whether or not you feel they deserve it, right? At the core, remember that all human beings are love, right? We all descend from love, right? As Marianne Williamson always says so beautifully, right? Love is the only thing that's real, right? You know that from the Course in Miracles. Love is the only thing that's real. So if we can just know that, even though he may not radiate that in the outside world in a loving way to be received by others, by sending somebody blessings, even if they don't know, right? Just subconsciously, whenever you feel that anger rise within you, it helps release you from those feelings. You liberate yourself by blessing that other person, right? Whether it's somebody that's not respecting your boundaries, whether it's just someone that, right, is agitating you or bringing out, right, the negative feelings that are rising within you, whether it's anger, whether it's frustration, to bless anyways, and to find the love and to find the grace and to say thank you, universe, God, spirit, for this experience. And if you're not sure what it's supposed to teach you, just to ask, to call in spirit and say, please help me understand what this experience is here to teach me and how I can heal through. I always say every challenge is an opportunity to heal. So how can I heal through this, right? This is a healing moment. It's not a challenge, right? It is a challenge. It seems on the outside, but it's a healing moment, and you will be stronger for it, right, on the other side, by knowing, right? That's number one, more things that you can teach to your clients and those you're meant to help in the world. So see the love in that, right? See the love in all of those challenges. Even when I have challenging days and I'm like, how am I going to get, on social, or how am I, right, or write my book? I'm just not in the mood. It's like, I understand why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. And I use that as fuel, as motivation to get out there in that space and to just be real and be vulnerable. And you are queen of that. I mean, I've watched your lives in your group as well as, on your personal page. And the one that you did last week, it was just so beautiful. It really was. And you saw the engagement. You saw how well received it was from all the women that follow you. It was just so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That makes better sense than the way you put it.
And trust me, I know it's never an easy situation in my life. It's my mother-in-law. And as much as I try to see the good, I don't know what it is, but every time I hear her voice on the telephone, it's like my blood boils. I don't know what, like my heart races. I get like nervous. I get angry. And she might not even say anything bad. It's just like, it's past feelings, coming to light of things she said or things she did. But I continue to bless, and I continue to just tell myself that I'm not going to hurt myself, right, in getting all stressed and concerned with these feelings. I'm only hurting myself. That other person doesn't even know what they're doing, right? So if anything, love yourself through this and allow yourself to, the best you can, release those feelings of resentment, of anger, feel them, definitely feel them, allow them to move through you, pass through you, and then bless that other person subconsciously. And they will feel that. They will definitely feel that.
Okay.
How do you feel you can share the wisdom, the experiences, everything, as I mentioned before? The best way for me to heal through it is to actually get out there and share, get it out of my mind, which, right, the whole monkey mind will drive me crazy, right?
Right.
Way to release, what's that?
Well, I started to lose your voice again.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So the best way to release those monkeys from the jungle, right, is to just get them out of the zoo, get them out of that space, share that with the outside world, journal that, get on live. Even the mind mapping you've been doing, which is just beautiful. Of course, I wish I could read some of it. It was coming out blurry. It's okay. And I was kind of zooming in. I'm like, okay, I can kind of make this out. I think it says community and this. But we'll talk about it in a second. So how do you feel you can, right, given our reading today, given the experience of the past week, how can you share this to heal through the experience?
Just say, I mean, first off, you can't pick first off, keep putting in your boundaries, and if people aren't going to respect you, then pray for them and send them love and be on your way.
Yep.
So,
yeah, and don't be afraid also. It's funny, I have another client, a different setting, and that's why, going back to your question before, do I speak to one or do I speak to many? The instance that you're explaining to me just now is setting boundaries occurs with my other client. However, her boundary is her significant other. Your boundary is child, right? But the underlying theme is still the same. It's to not be afraid to continue, right? Because humans are creatures of habit, right? When you hear something once, or even as you're learning, does it set in right away, right? Or even like, we know we should be doing this, but it takes a while. Like, it feels good to keep reading it, to keep soaking it in, right? Like, we know we need to focus on one thing at a time in our business. Do we always do that? Not necessarily, right? So the same logic goes for setting boundaries. Maybe just saying no once doesn't set in. So not to be afraid to continue, right? Because the more you build that habit, the more the person on the other end will understand, oh, wow, like, she's serious. You know what I mean? Like, she needs this time, or she needs a space, or for whatever reason, and explain, hey, I can't handle this for you now because I need to work on this, and just kind of maybe explaining the situation as to why you need the time, space, or energy in setting that boundary, I think would help to gain a greater understanding, right, on both ends, to have more respect for those boundaries. And the other action, which I always tell my other client, is if they still don't hear you, just do it. Just don't answer, right? If somebody comes to you, whether it's a text, don't answer the text, don't answer the email, don't acknowledge, because the more you say I need space, but you give in anyway, right? What you say is not in alignment with what you're doing, and then that person doesn't clearly understand, right? So sometimes you just need to take the action. I know it's hard, especially when it's somebody you love, right? Because you want to be there for them 100% of the time. But if you need that space for yourself, not to be afraid to just take the action. And through the action, subconsciously, that other person will understand what you were trying to say in the first place.
Right. Yep. Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and something else, and actually thought of you when I read this morning, and you may follow this because I know you follow Danielle Laporte as well as Marie Forleo, but it's an email that came through this morning, and I always preach this too. We talk about it. I think we talked about it on our last Freedom and Flow call, how to know or how to feel in your body when a decision is right? Or should I do this? Or, how can I set a boundary? Or, how can I do this without feeling, I'm neglecting that other person, right? Is asking yourself, does this feel light or does this feel heavy? Right? Mm-hmm. Meaning, if you set the boundary, will that make you feel lighter to do whatever you need to do? It's not that the actual action of what you're going to do is going to feel light, but it's the end result, right? Does this setting this boundary liberate you to have the time, energy, right? Does blessing somebody and moving on liberate you, right? Does that feel light or does that feel heavy? Right? And the way I thought about it with all of this going on is that action may not feel light or heavy, but the end result does. And so, yes, it may feel heavier up front to have that conversation, or to say no, or to take that step in your business that you've been afraid to take for whatever reason. But on the other side, will you feel lighter? Will you feel accomplished? Will you feel free? Right? And asking yourself that, to know that, yes, it's worth, right? Yes, it might feel heavy coming up front. It's going to be some work, but in the end, you'll be better off for it, versus the other side where it feels lighter up front, feels easy to say, oh, I'm not going to do this right now. Or, I don't know how to tell that person, so I'm just going to ignore the situation, right? Light up front, but in the end, much heavier, right? Because you're just putting a Band-Aid on the problem. You're not healing through it, right? You're just covering the wound instead of actually moving through it. So what's going to happen is, yeah, it may heal over a time, but what happens? The scar is going to resurface, right? Because it never fully healed in the first place. So, yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, all good things. So what has shifted in your business since we last spoke? And what burning questions do you have for me in terms of next steps?
Well, what has shifted is, so I completed the presentation of the webinar. And that was good. And what it did was, I had to figure out some tech things on my own. So that was a good lesson. And I also had to stand up because so my friend, it's her group, and so while I sent on my draft, she started, I think I told you, she started revising it. And that really, it really messed up my head. You know what I mean? Because they're like, oh, I love it. This is great. This is awesome. Just finish it up and put graphics in. Like, okay. So then a couple days later, my friend Darian, she's local, and I said to her, I said, you said you wanted to review it a little bit. Did you finish? Well, she said, well, I'm kind of revising it. I'm condensing it. And I said, well, is that for you to review because it's easier for you, or are you editing and revising? And she said, a little of both. And I said, well, I was angry. And I just said, well, I don't want you to do double work because I'm not done. I haven't added the graphics. I haven't finished all the slides. So, and she didn't answer. And I know she travels a lot. She's got 2 girls who are like, 10 and 11 or 11 and 12. She is a busy woman. So it's not like she's flush with time. Her job is very demanding. So I never heard back from her because she was traveling. And I finished it. I finished my presentation. And then we got together last week to review it with the team. And her slides were, seriously, they were like 20 bullet points on and 2 columns, and it was killing me. It hurt my head. So they said, they said, well, somebody gave me the option. It's up to you, Amy, how you want to present it with, this way, or split it into 2 slides. And so I spoke up and I said, I need it split into 2 sides. It's getting to be too much. It's overwhelming for me. So, and I, some people just like control. And I think 2 of those 3 women really like control. And so I told Darian that I would revise the entire presentation with her background on it and do what I needed to do to finish it. And she couldn't stop. She kept editing and revising. I'm like, would you just stop? I mean, I know her well enough. So I was like, stop it already. Send it to me and let me be on my way. And last Friday night, I was working on it until like 11:30 at night. It was, PowerPoint I bought it and it was just a lot of tech challenges. I finally got it done, sent it out Thursday night or Friday night. And we reviewed it online, and now it's all good to go. Awesome. The actual webinar itself is Tuesday morning.
This Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday at 10, next Tuesday. Awesome. And we go through a dry run on Monday.
Okay.
So now I have to download whatever GoToMeeting or whatever the hell it is, and maybe do a practice with my husband over the weekend just to kind of get something going before Monday comes.
Okay.
And I gotta get my notes, because now that everything was revised, my speaker notes aren't in there. So I don't.
Speaker notes?
What's that?
You deleted the speaker notes?
I don't know where. The
revision kind of somehow.
Yeah, I did it in Google Slides, and then it went to PowerPoint. And then they redid it and added condensed slides and deleted some, and so.
Might be good to have a paper copy just in case.
Yeah, I thought I would have that too. Really, I think that might be the best thing to do, because I don't know what version they're going to be uploading and doing with. So
exactly, and then that'll eliminate any worries about the tech piece of it. You know what I mean? You have it in front of you. Plus, I think from a presentation perspective, it has like a better look and feel. I don't know if you're going to stand behind a podium or just in front of the audience, but even if you just have a small card with you and kind of chop up the notes into small little pointers, or each slide just have a couple bullet points that trigger to remind you of the conversation that you want to have, and then you can just color it with stories, right? To kind of lace in the content. I think that would be better than speaker notes, because then you don't have to constantly look at the screen. You know what I mean? Like, let the audience kind of look at that, and you're facing the audience with your notes in front of you.
Oh, so are they going to see me?
What's that?
Are they going to see me, the audience?
Well, it depends. Is there a video capability, or it's just the audio?
Well, it's like I feel like it's a Zoom. It's similar to Zoom because they're going to see the presentation.
Okay, because some platforms have the capability where you can see yourself in small and then you can see the screen at the same time. So I didn't know if that was the case, but
Oh, okay. Well, I have to check it out. Okay, so see me. So I'll just have to check it out. So I'm really excited for that, and I'll be
I got it confused initially. I was like, I thought it was a live thing, and then you said webinar. I remembered it was a webinar, but I didn't know if it's like being recorded, if because it was a friend of yours in the community. You were in front of a live
yeah.
audience, so
No, it's her. It's for her company, which is global. So it's the 1,000 women have the invite to it, and I don't know how many people will sign on and be part of it.
okay.
So and then there was some confusion because they kept talking about leave behinds and what did I have as a leave behind. And when I brought up, having an offer, they didn't like that. I mean, they weren't rude about it, but they thought, it's better if you just say, if you're on Facebook, follow me here. And I said, okay, that's fine. And so I'll invite them to my group.
Okay. What about a free gift? Are they okay with that type of a leave behind, or because that's a gift,
They,
you're not really selling anything?
well, they,
Because that would be good. Of course, here's how you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, etc. But then, I've been to a lot of seminars or corporate events where they say, and here's a free gift. If you'd like to, you can download, this podcaster's guide to the directory of all the top podcasters and how you can pitch them, right? And then you just send them the Bitly link, or you put it as part of your presentation. You say if you're interested, and then you see people take out their phones and sign up. That way you get them on your email list as well as the social media followers. I mean, of course, if they approve. But I think
right.
that would be a good way, because you're not selling, you're really not offering anything, but you're building your list, which is wonderful. And I would somehow tie that offer that you have, get that in Member Vault.
Yeah.
Not only do you get them on your list because your Member Vault's connected to MailChimp, but you'll be able to track their engagement within Member Vault.
But that's true. And, since it's a work-life balance seminar, it would be in alignment to just offer them the freebie for the boundaries,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Which is already in there.
Yes. Yes.
So I'll double check that that's okay, and see what they say.
Perfect.
Yep. I know. Thanks. And then, so that was a big thing that took place, and then my group ended, so I had my final Facebook live on Monday with them. There were 2 women that were engaged pretty much the entire time, like the rule followers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just like
yeah. I've offered everybody a free coaching call and sent them my calendar as a thank you. And I haven't received anything. And I also asked for feedback. Any feedback. And my one friend did give me some feedback along the way. And then I asked if they had anything positive to say, if I could use it as a testimonial. So I really haven't heard much. I mean, one of them I'm friends with, and she'd give me texts along the way, and I asked her if I could use those as testimonials, and she said yes.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
together.
yeah, so that's what I have so far. And then I
follow up too, because I know if the course is ending, sometimes people tend to disconnect and they might forget about it. Like I've had a number of people say, "Yeah, I'm going to give you a testimonial. Just give me till the weekend." And the weekend comes and they forget. So I'm just, I wait a week or so, and I'm like, "Hey, just wondering if you had a chance to work on the testimonial." "Oh gosh, yeah, I totally forgot. Let me get that to you in the next couple days."
okay.
Something else that's really powerful too that I started doing is asking if they're open to it, a video testimonial.
Oh, okay.
Really powerful. You can put that on your website. You can include it in Member Vault or on a sales page or landing page. And that would really, I think, bring the whole context of everything to life. So you not only get to hear what people have to say, you get to kind of see them right in motion. And people today, I've been reading a lot of studies in terms of engagement. Video is the number one form to best engage with your audience. Like if you have a landing page or just any type of offer, I mean, of course, live supersedes all of that, right? So live and in person. Second would be video, right? Third might be a hybrid of that, right? Like a group coaching course, and then self-study, is still very valuable, but maybe not as prevalent, I think, in the marketplace. A lot of people are tired of investing in courses and then they just never get to it, kind of a thing.
Oh,
Especially
yeah.
if it's just content related, right? And there's no sort of live calls or videos or anything like that. So I think having a video, if people are open to it, you can have a mix, have some written testimonials and then have some video testimonials. And then you can repurpose that in different ways. So I've also used it actually when speaking to somebody, let's say on a sales call or like a follow-up, and they're like, hey, do you have any client success stories or testimonials, just so I can hear how other people think about this experience? And I send it over to them. So if you have a video, you can just say, hey, here's the link of my client, Mary, and here's what she thought about my last course, feel free to take a peek. And you can send that individually as well. So that's really powerful.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, so since then I've been sitting here kind of spinning, and trying to figure out what I need to work on. So I know I need to work on a forgiveness freebie, so I'm going to add another freebie about forgiving of self and forgiving others.
Okay. Perfect opportunity with what's been going on over the past week in your reading, right? That's really all about
Yes.
Yeah, forgiving yourself, forgiving others, right? Blessing them, sending them love, even when you may not feel that person deserves love or you feel like giving them love, right? I think that's really the heart of what forgiveness is all about. So there, the universe is giving you a divine opportunity to really bring this to light.
Yeah. So I got to do that, and then I was trying to figure out my next steps, and that's where I was getting stuck on the postpartum person and the woman looking for the job person. And so I was telling a friend, I said, well, I've been speaking to somebody who's at work and not happy and needs to, get a new job. And she was like, yeah, how's that going for you? So she's like, something's off in your messaging. Either you're not speaking clearly to the right person, or your energy's off, or something isn't right if you haven't connected yet.
Not always, because it may just not be the right connection. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't blame yourself, and I wouldn't blame your messaging. I always think it's two things. So number one, yes, the message may not be clear, so the other person may not receive it. However, I don't think it's anything wrong in what you're doing, because I truly do believe, and I've seen it time and again, I've been in this business now, 4 years, where the right person understands exactly what I'm saying, right?
Okay.
And if there is some disconnect along the way, even if my thoughts are jumbled or maybe the energy, right, the words don't come out right, that other person always, the right person always understands. So it may not be you. Yes, there's definitely ways to tweak and get clear on your messaging, which I want to work through with you together, because yes, those are two totally different energies, right? They're both huge pieces of your story, but it may not connect to other people. But just like the instance where I explained to you before about setting boundaries, right? That may apply to women differently in their lives, whether it's boundary with a child, boundary with a job, boundary with a spouse, right? But at the core, the message is the same. So I guess what I think would really help you is to think about both of these women, right? What is the common theme that ties both of where they are now in their journey? What is making them feel, right? You mentioned a lot of, living your best life or not living fully, being too much stuck in a rut or in a routine. But is there a common theme? And if not, then maybe it is two separate energies. But I always find that things are truly connected in both of these women. What is kind of that common theme right? So in the middle of your mind map, you put postpartum depression, but what is that underlying feeling of how that woman feels? Same with the woman that feels lost at her job or feels like there's more purpose to her life. What is that underlying feeling?
Well, I know that the woman at because I did this the other day, at her job feels disrespected, undervalued.
Okay.
Um,
Value.
yeah,
Yes.
valued, undervalued, meaningless,
Okay.
like worthless, and a new mom can feel that way because now her whole world has shifted from being, whether she works, at outside of the home, in a job, whether entrepreneur or corporate, or if she's been a volunteer and, doing that sort of thing. But goddamn, then you've been a wife and a woman and a friend. Well, then you go to just kind of taking care of this this thing that I had a friend call it. She's like, it might as well just be a plant, because I mean, it gives you nothing for so long. You get no feedback from it. The baby can't give you any love.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you're not getting anything emotional from it.
Yes. So now you just nailed it. Think about that. The plant. I love that analogy. But think about a woman in a job that isn't receiving the love, that isn't receiving the feedback, right? And then the woman, right, who just had the baby, who's going through postpartum, same thing. She's working so hard. She's giving all this love. She just labored for 9 months, right?
Right.
And the baby can't, just like the job or the boss or the company, that culture's not giving you love. It's the same, right? Underlying theme is that you're giving your all to that, right? You're giving all of your energy, your time, your love to this plant, right? Be it the baby or be it the job, and you're not you're not being reciprocated. The value is not in alignment, right? What you're giving out is not what you're receiving back.
Right.
And I think that if you can speak, and you don't have to get confused as, okay, am I speaking just to women, going through postpartum, or women, going through a tough job? Because like you said, there's so many different instances of that. Like in my experience, yes, I typically talk to women that want more in their life, but I have clients like you that just left a corporate path. I have clients that are currently still in the job. And then I have a mother that never had a college degree, who just feels unfulfilled, that wants to start her own business just to feel like she has a role besides just being a mother. So it's kind of the same instance, right? Just feeling like you're having an impact, like there's more to you than, oh, sorry, I just hit something here and I thought something on the desk was gonna fly. Not that being a mother, right, isn't soul fulfilling, but just to have something that's your own beyond that, right? To really make an impact in the world. So when I speak to these women, let's say on social media, or when I'm promoting an offer, I'm speaking to one feeling, right? How, do you want to feel like, my big word is freedom, right? Because to me, if I think about the one thing that I craved in my life, so it was freedom from body shame and the weight loss and that whole, right, food controlling my life, jobs controlling my life, relationships controlling, where I felt like you said, helpless. Like, how can I give love to these things that aren't giving back to me, right? And taking back that control, to me, that's freedom, right? So when I was speaking in my messaging, and I continue to, I just described how I felt in that moment. I felt trapped. I felt dead inside. I felt like there was so much more to life, right, in my mind, but I wasn't physically living this every single day. And I would question right, and just describe, and there's all different stories, right, that may tie into that same theme. Those are your different posts, right? But at the core, it all evokes the same emotion, right? Feelings of, just like you're reading, loneliness, right? Not connected to a greater purpose or to a greater love. I mean, it's actually amazing everything you're saying, because you're reading so much intertwined to all of this, right? And really giving you clarity as to who you speak to and the approach that you take it. And my zone of genius, of course, as I always say, is connecting it. And that's why, yes, I spoke to people when I started who were like, well, I don't understand what you do. Like, what do you mean you're spiritual, you're a business coach, you're into health and wellness, like pick a theme. And I'm like, but no, because it's all connected, right? Like I have a client who started with me on her soul path because she was a victim, of abuse. So we worked through that. And now that she's healed through that, she was like, okay, next stage, now I want to work on my business, right? And now that I'm working on my business, yeah, I'm skinny, but I don't have great eating habits. So can you help, right? So you see how like, yeah, the original messaging might have been, do you want to start a business or do you want more out of your life? But as you have the conversations on social media, on a clarity call, or even when you actually work with a client, all of the other issues may come to light. Maybe not postpartum, but maybe those same feelings of, yeah, giving love and not receiving back, right? Issues of codependency maybe, where the woman feels like she constantly needs to give to feed her soul, right? And when you don't receive that feedback, you give more because you're craving that feedback. So it's kind of, they're all intertwined themes. Mm-hmm. The end result may be different, right? It might be an unfulfilling job. It might be postpartum depression. It might be a broken relationship. It might be, issues with a troublesome child, right? The end, right? So don't speak to that. Speak to the emotions of what that person's going through, the root cause, right? Again, like we talked about the Band-Aid, right? Not necessarily talking about the problem, but let's go back to what caused this in the first place and how can we move through that, right? Given the tools, given the resources, that's your modules. Your modules, if you're thinking about a course, that's the steps you're going to take to go from feeling like this to feeling like this, right? Thinking about your own path. Where were you, right, a few years ago when you were in your corporate job or when you went through postpartum to where you are today? What's changed? What steps did you take to heal through that? Not to say that, right, everything is perfect now and life is, we're always moving through, but your clients are just a few steps behind you. And they're wondering, well, how did you get to where you are today? Wow, you started your own business. You look fabulous. You have great energy. Like, I want to know what you did to go from these feelings of loss to feeling like, yes, I can do this. Yes, even though it's tough, I'm going to continue. I have that tenacity. I have that drive. I have that motivation to continue on this path because I know now I'm connected to a greater purpose than I did in my corporate path or than I did right when I had my baby.
Okay. So I'll be speaking to the feeling and then I feel like I'm really good at inspiring people. So I just speak to that feeling, still one of those feelings, and inspiring them to get out of that feeling. But when I do a call to action, then I tell a story, and it can be either, and I can mix it up. I was at a job and I felt this way, which is the same feeling as the postpartum person. And I can also say when I had postpartum, I felt this way, and I can do that. And that's still the call to action. I can tell those stories.
Yes. The postpartum, the job, you're not speaking to that. That's the stories, right? So you can use all of that, right? What you're speaking to into one is that end offer, that feeling that you're giving them at the end of the day, right? Because when somebody's thinking of investing or clicking, right, they want to know what's in it for me, right? So that's why you don't want to speak to the problem. You want to speak to the solution. You want to speak to the end game. You want to kind of visualize, okay, where am I now versus where I want to be? And you bridge that gap and you say, hey, here's the first step, right? That's the best way to transition when you have an offer, whether it's free or whether it's a paid course. Hey, let's take that first step together. I invite you to check out my program where I take you step by step on how to release those feelings of guilt, release those feelings of shame, to truly know your worth, to step away from your job, to heal through postpartum depression, to say no and set boundaries, right? The two can be different in each one of your posts or each one of your blogs or videos, but it's all leading back to the same offer. because that same offer solves the problem for all of those women.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Okay.
does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the person that I was talking to, she's, she focuses on one thing, like finding passion. And so she's constantly posting to that person 25 times a day or whatever. And it's very crystal clear who that is. But so I guess that I've been focused on the person and the problem more than I've been focusing on the feelings and how to, well, I guess the pain points, and then how to relieve those pain. Okay.
Yes. And what she's doing is not wrong. I mean, she's speaking to a specific person, which is wonderful, right? I mean, you know that through the work that we've done, and that's a whole module in Freedom and Flow as well. Like I say, visualize that person. How old is she? What is she like? Who are her mentors? What magazines does she read? Like getting crystal clear on that person. But just think of that as you're writing your stories, right? As you're writing your posts, right? Who that person is, but just know and be fluid and open. And that's the problem, I think, with those that are too focused on one. Yes, it's nice because you're crystal clear, but you also kind of close the door on being open to, right, working with different people that may connect to the same message. That's what I mean when you're focused on just that one message, like knowing you nailed it. This is what I see it as, but of course, do it in your own way. Knowing your worth, right? Knowing your worth, having the courage to step up and step away from a challenging situation, a challenging job, a toxic relationship, suffering through depression and anxiety. But knowing what that root cause is, I think, is the best way to heal through that, right? But also giving that person the feeling and the hope of that end game. Like, here's the solution, right? Here's your problem. Here's your solution, right? Just like Marie Forleo, copy, cure. Yeah. Right? You're terrible at writing copy. You're feeling too salesy. This is the cure. Here's my course. You know what I mean? I'm going to teach you step by step. So just thinking of that, right, in your offer, okay, what is the direct solution? Because that's what the person on the other end is thinking. But the way you're going to kind of open that door for them without being too direct is through the stories. That's how you warm them up. You let them know who you are, right? Because there's a level of comfort as well. Like I just had a client, sign up yesterday and ask her for a testimonial. And she basically said it was too, I said, what made you say yes? And she said, there was something divine about this interaction, right? But she said, I also just feel very comfortable with you. And she said, I think that's very important. So that's what I think is more important than being clear, is building that level of comfort with your audience to where they feel like they know you, they trust you, they're like one of your friends, even though you've never met. One of my clients said that when she first signed up, and I still work with her today. She said, there's something about your writing that it's like, I've never met you, but it's like, I know you. Like, I don't even have to see you on video. She's like, I just know I can feel you in the room. Like, that's the feeling that you want to give in your writing. So don't get too caught up on, right, the details, because that can drive you crazy, right? As you've been going through.
I've noticed it can drive me crazy.
Exactly. So it might even be good to take the mind map that you have now and revise it a little bit instead of having postpartum depression in the middle.
Yes.
That's the problem, right? Put the solution in the middle and then spiral out of that, the steps to get to that solution. Okay. And that's what you speak to. Okay. When you're promoting on social, just like that woman is speaking to one thing, you're speaking to that solution. That's what you're known for. You're an expert in knowing your worth, whatever that bubble is, feeling valued, feeling connected, feeling inspired, whatever that is, feeling motivated, speak to that one thing and then spiral out from there, right? Thinking about your own journey, because that's the easiest way to do it, because your clients are, again, speaking about mirror images, they're mirror images of you. They may not be exactly like you. They might be, demographics might be different, but at their core, right? Just like you and I, we're very different. We live in different places, we're different ages. We've had different life paths, but there is a connectedness between us, right? And so you're going to find that same connectedness with your clients. They don't have to look like you or act like you, but at the soul level, they are a piece of you.
Right. Okay. Got it.
And it's 1:11 my time, so I make a wish for you to make that happen. So does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Make sense.
Yeah, and feel free, you know, as you're writing the content, you know, just send it over to me as you have in the past. Does this make sense? Is this clear? And then we can, instead of kind of working through the actual content, think about the higher level, right? I can give you advice on, okay, I'm confused on this, or maybe, you know, shed some light on that, or how to kind of connect and all, you know, with that transition of the offer. And I'd be happy to help you. So.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So at this point, I want to put together another course like I did. I really like those courses. I do. I really like them. So it's not so much a postpartum course. It's like, again, feeling valued, finding your value. Okay.
Yeah. I like that.
And then you mentioned that I should be promoting the course now for like an April start, right?
Yes.
Just even see if there's interest. Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Yep, exactly. All you need to promote is the outline.
Okay. I lost you again. Hold on.
Oh, can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay. Sorry, I must have gotten finger happy here on the keyboard.
That's okay.
So let's kind of work through this just real quickly now and get like the skeleton or the outline. Just see what sparks. You can go and revisit it. And that's all you need to think about when you create your landing page, is you're promoting that skeleton. And that's it.
Right.
And see, you know, see if that gets engagement, if women are interested, right, in what you're offering before you even write it, because you don't want to spend the time, energy, right, and money investing in something and then crickets, right? So this way, this is your experiment. By all you've written is a simple outline with the topics. You know, you can do videos about it, colored and with stories, your post, right, which will be the different stories of your life that kind of, right, again, intertwine to the same message, and then see what sparks from there. But definitely for a launch, I would say a good 4 to 6 weeks is a good time frame. So yeah, if it's April, then now is definitely a good time to start, you know, getting your feelers out there. I would say the first few weeks would be value driven, right? Value driven by, I mean, don't even mention your offer yet. I would say until, let's say you're doing 3 weeks or 6 weeks, maybe the third week, you know, value. Get people on your list, right? Because guess what? A lot of it's a numbers game. The more women you have on your list, the more, right, statistically will be able to say yes once you do have that final offer.
Right. Okay.
And you're webinar queen, so feel free to, you know, even maybe host another webinar leading to this offer. I think that would be awesome.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Do you follow, have you heard of Terry Cole, the Real Love Revolution?
So only through Danielle Laporte.
Oh, okay. Because I did her, she might be somebody, the same theme, right? Real Love Revolution, How to Love Yourself, just to kind of look at how she pieces together her content with the same theme. I can send you an email. I did her, she had a free meditation, I don't know, a few weeks ago. It was a free meditation series where each day was a different theme about love. And she would guide you through that. And then there was like a short video. Like, I think I might also send you some of the old ones I have if they're still available to play. Just to get a sense of how, because your themes are very much intertwined. Like, that's her expertise, right? Is real love, how to love yourself, how to give yourself love when all these other things in life happen. You know, how to give and radiate love in return. I'll go ahead and send you that. But just really quickly, let's just kind of do some mapping. So what comes to life when you think about this Finding Your Value course? What will you teach?
What will I teach?
What are some themes that come to life?
So how to, well, I guess how to, I don't know. how to I feel like it's all kind of what I just did. So feeling good about yourself, taking care of yourself, how to feel good about yourself, I guess, and then I guess when you're in a situation where you're not getting it back, I think that's more to be specified.
Not feeling reciprocated.
Yeah. What your choices are, you know what I mean? Like you have choices.
Okay.
I guess to figure out how to figure out what you want. Okay, I'm losing your voice.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. You have a lot of this in your mind mapping. Like those are all the answers. You pretty much said you already did that. So go back to that, and I couldn't read all of it, right? But some of the themes that spiraled out of the postpartum depression, right? That's your outline, right? That's your course. That's what you're going to speak to, right? Think about maybe if something doesn't seem like it could be a whole week, maybe you could bundle together some of those themes that are relatable. But right here, you have a great start, feeling good about yourself, how to take care of yourself, not feeling reciprocated and loved, right? In return, your love choices, that would be an awesome week, how to make loving choices, how to feel empowered, right, in your choices, because that affects, of course, what you do, and then how to figure out what you even want. That's probably the first step, right? Is how to figure out what you want, how to be open to receive abundance, which is love. I have another client, she wrote a course like that, how to even be open, how to know, because if you're not even aware, right, that's where the first block lies. You're not open. You're subconsciously blocking that love without even knowing it.
Right.
So that would be a really good start. So, go back to that mind map, kind of create the first outline. Go ahead and send it to me. And then your next step from there is honestly just creating a new course in Member Vault. Get this skeleton, set the modules up as if they're already written. Have a short description for each one of them. So when you send the preview page, which you don't even have to create a landing page, that is your landing page. When you send it, that person will be able to see exactly what this course is all about. And what I think would be most powerful is also to add a short video, right? So on the main page, you'll have the description of the course, you'll have your video, and then you'll have the modules appear on the right-hand side. And it could just be a simple 3-minute video introducing yourself, what inspired you to write this course, and what she will receive at the end of the 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is. How is she going to feel? What is she going to learn? And how are you going to guide her through that journey?
Okay.
Kind of laying out the simple steps here. So just outline, Member Vault, and promote. Those are just kind of the 3 main points. And then of course within that, right, there's back and forth between the outline, honing that out, Member Vault, getting that landing page set up, right? There's steps within that we'll work through together. The most important part is the promotion piece of it.
Right. Okay.
So.
All right. What else do I want to ask you?
Yeah.
Shoot. I don't know. Okay. It'll come to me later. All right. Oh, so I'm doing that mother-daughter circle in April also.
Okay.
So, I mean, I feel like that's in alignment because now it's empowering women, but empowering girls.
Yes.
Right? So it's still in alignment in my umbrella.
Yes. Yes. It's unleashing that divine feminine energy, right? All of this is acting from the divine feminine, knowing your worth, feeling loved, right? That's feminine energy versus masculine, which you can think of as maybe more business coaching, right? That's more like divine masculine energy.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely.
Okay.
Because, who can use this information more than anything is women. I mean, this all
Right.
pertains to women, whether it's young daughters, whether it's mothers, their relationship to each other, right? The mother-daughter relationship with other women, right? In their circle and in their life. So.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Other questions? Anything kind of come up
Nope.
in our conversation?
Nope. That was mostly, that's where I was hung up.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I think
Now I'm not. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. As long as you can see clearly.
I can see clearly. I'm not hung up anymore.
The rain is gone. No, just kidding.
I know.
I can see all obstacles.
You got to get back on stage.
Yes. Well, it's funny because I'm going to be on a podcast in a few weeks, and the guy asked a really good question. He's like, what is something that most people don't know about you that you'd like to share, like something funny? And I'm like, I'm not a funny, I don't know. Like, that stuff doesn't come to mind if you want to talk deep and spiritual. So I asked my husband, I'm like, what would you say about me? And I thought he was going to say, I always think that I was a childhood actress, because a lot of people don't know that. I was a singer, I was a dancer, and of course an actress. And he goes, oh, you yoga breathe when you sleep. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. You want to share with people my sleeping habits? Okay. I said, that's good. I guess my meditation and yoga practice, subconsciously, I'm doing it in my sleep. So something interesting. Yeah, perfect. So I think we have some good steps. I'll go ahead and send you all the notes from this call with the outline and kind of the 3 steps like we talked about. But just start with 1. So don't even, I know you because you're me. Right. I think 10 steps ahead of where I need to be in the moment, right? So all you have to think about right now in terms of course, and of course clarifying your message, is getting that outline. So looking back at that map, you already have that written. Get the outline written out. Get, a little description in Member Vault for each week in each module. Think about a video, right, and recording that. And then if you feel inspired beyond that, start writing posts about it. Introduce people to that topic with the themes that you have in the map. Just continuously look back at that mind map. That is your tool, right? That is your sort of map to birthing this whole offer, because that has all the keys, all the steps. And I have some questions in here too that we pretty much did talk about. But as you take a step back and start working through this, to continue to ask yourself, that will help bring to light, what do you feel called to focus on right now? What is the offer you'll birth from this focused energy? Or what is the next step that you'll birth from this focused energy? And then what are the little micro steps needed to make this happen? That really helps me. Whenever I get too much in my own head, I'm like, okay, what is it I need to do? Outline. Okay, great. Well, what do I need to do before I even get there? What are the mini steps? Right? Okay, I need to start mind mapping. I need to start thinking of themes. I need to get, write the content in Member Vault. I need to think about a description, right? There's all these little things. But once you get it all on paper, it helps get it out of your head, right, and bring it to reality, so you're not spending too much time upstairs, so to speak.
Okay, and so then that mind map is really going to be my content calendar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, shoot, I didn't have time to show you Meet Edgar. And
I got the link.
Yep.
So I'll just take a look at it, and maybe we can talk about it another time. But I'm not. That's fine, because I don't think I'm ready for that yet. But
yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my theory is, and I haven't even released mine yet because I'm still testing it. So I have it kind of in testing mode now. And then once you go live, there's a simple button you hit that will send the automation into flight. Okay. But yeah, I'm a firm believer that number 1, you want to be crystal clear with your messaging before you get it all over the place, right? Because the automation's going to post for you without you knowing. And right then you'll really feel, I don't know, I would feel completely out of control if I didn't even know what I was going to say yet. So now that we've honed this down, I think that's maybe like next time we can walk through that. And if you do feel ready, even before our next call, I can record a simple, demo video for you or something, kind of showing you the back end. But it's pretty intuitive.
All right. Where did you find that?
What's that?
Where did you find that?
Me, Edgar?
Yeah.
Actually, a long time ago. I had it a long time ago and I canceled it. Yeah, I heard the lady who created it, Laura, I forget her, Laura Ingram or something. Laura something. Not Ingram, that's somebody else. I'm like, I know, I'm like, not Ingram. Laura, it's Laura something. But she was on a podcast talking about exactly that. Like, do you feel like you're all over the place? Like you're trying to manage your social media, but you're not at a point where you want a VA yet. And she's actually, the reason why I invested this time is I watched a webinar where she's added all these new features. So now it integrates with Instagram, it integrates with LinkedIn. And there's actually an auto feature, which is really cool, that you can post blogs and have it connect to like your Medium, and it automatically pieces and posts for you based on that blog. Like it creates content for you automatically. So it's pretty, that's why I invested in it.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Okay.
But I'm still testing it out, and I've been focusing on so many other things, so content hasn't been one, or automation hasn't been one of them. So
right,
yeah, I'm kind of a control freak when it comes to my content.
Well, as you should be, because it's who you are, right?
Exactly. So yep. So I'll send you all of that. Let's go ahead and book our next call for March.
So I'm on spring break the week of the 23rd to the 30th. So that last week I'll be gone. And when do you move?
I would say perfect, because that last week we're moving that next week, the first week in March, end of March, April. So
okay.
So I was thinking the week prior, if that works. The 19th.
Yep.
March 19th. Let's see. Can you do a little bit later? Because I always forget you're 2 hours. We'll be an hour closer next time.
That's right.
I'll be before you. How is 2 o'clock my time? Could be 4 o'clock your time?
Wait, can you say again?
Oh, sorry. 4 o'clock your time. Does that work?
Yep. So March 19th at 4. Yep.
Perfect.
Got it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Amy, for showing
up. It was nice to see you again.
Yes, nice to see you. I missed you dearly. I know we didn't get to talk about vacation or anything like that, but thank you so much for, respecting my vacation time. So it was very nice, and very nice to be I literally was not on this for 12 days. It was very nice. So. That's exciting. And much needed. So
yeah, and so you had a good time.
Yeah, it was very lovely. A bit rainier, than I would have liked, but compared to the weather back here, and I'm sure in Chicago, it's nothing to complain about.
Well, the pictures I've seen so far you posted are really pretty.
Yes, and I still need to go kind of in detail with that, but now with the move and everything going on, and my course is ending, the Freedom and Flow is kind of wrapping up, so I'm kind of trying to tie it all in, and then I'll get back to sharing my story and writing, and got to get back to my book too. So
yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.